my name is Hillary Mulick and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a destination wedding photographer living in North Carolina, and here on my channel I share education for photographers that includes business, marketing, film photography, and just anything else business, as well as little peeks into my personal life here in the Carolinas. Before we start off with today's topic, make sure to grab the free guide. There's a link down in the description to get it. It's how to get 10 storytelling photos with just one pose. It's my secret to getting a variety of images that tell a story while keeping my couples comfortable and relaxed and not moving them around a ton throughout a session. So make sure to grab that guide in the description below. I am so excited for today's topic. I'm going to be talking all about how to calculate travel costs for destination weddings and sessions. As a destination photographer, I travel a lot and I get a lot of questions on how I calculate this travel into my packages and how I charge clients for different travel things, and I'm going to cover all of that in the video today. Okay, so let's jump right in. What I do when calculating travel for my clients is I have multiple pricing guides that I send to couples based on where they are inquiring from. So my travel guides are set to different regions. I live in North Carolina, so I have the region of the Northeast, and that's a separate pricing guide that I send them that has travel in order to travel to the Northeast. I also have the Southeast, so if I'm traveling more south than I am here in North Carolina. I also have a West Coast pricing guide that I have as well. I don't shoot any sessions, not that I don't want to, but I just don't really get inquiries for sessions in the Midwest, so I don't have a pricing guide for that currently. But for those types of inquiries that I'm getting most frequently is the Northeast, Southeast, and West Coast. So I have different pricing guides for all of those. And then I also just have a separate pricing guide for local weddings here in North Carolina. But I would recommend doing your pricing guides like that, is just having different pricing guides for different regions that you get inquiries for or that you want to travel to for destination weddings. I also wanted to mention all the information here is shooting destination weddings that are still within the United States. If I get a destination wedding that is in Europe or just somewhere that's really far and it really needs a custom quote, then I do things a lot differently for that. But a lot of these tips can still apply to that as well. So what I do when I am putting together the pricing for travel for these different regions, so for the Northeast, Southeast, and West Coast, since I'm located in North Carolina, is I look at so let's go with Northeast, because I actually travel up to the Northeast most often. I look at travel for flights. I look at general travel for car, how much a hotel is going to be, and then as well as how much I'm going to calculate for food. So I put all of that together. I just get general estimated costs. I buffer it a little bit. So if hotel is around, if I'm seeing hotel that I could get hotels for maybe around $120 a night, I'll probably buffer it a little bit more so that if I'm traveling to maybe a little bit more of an expensive area, then I'm not having to dip into my own personal money in order to cover those travel costs. So that's kind of how I come up with just the general travel quote. As I look at flights, I look at car, hotel, and then just general cost of food for the weekend. So after I calculate all those things, I add them all up, and then that is my flat rate for travel in order to traveling to that area. I like breaking it down with regions. I just feel like it's a little bit easier. So I've shot weddings up in Boston, I've shot weddings in New Hampshire, in Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey, and I can get a general idea on how much it's going to cost me to travel to each of those areas. And so if I'm traveling to shoot a wedding in New York or Boston or somewhere that's like in the city, travel is probably going to cost a little bit more for me. So I make sure to, that's why I buffer all of these prices. Or if I'm traveling to an area that's maybe not quite as expensive, if I'm going to Hershey, Pennsylvania, for example, I used to live there, all those costs will still be covered because I have buffered this and just created a flat rate to travel to that region. So that's how I estimate the travel costs for weddings. When I am estimating travel, I do a lot of day sessions. It's mostly for, or day travel sessions. It's mostly for engagement sessions. You can hear Boris snoring in the background. But when I'm traveling for a engagement session for the day, I do a flat rate fee because I'm only really doing I'm only really doing a flight, and all of my travel sessions are done during the week. So flight costs are actually lower during the week than if I was traveling on a weekend. So I calculate costs for flight and then maybe costs for a rental car if I'm having to drive really far away from the airport in order to meet them, or I will calculate costs for like Uber or Lyft or something to kind of take me around where I need to go. So currently I actually have my day travel rates at a flat $500. Of course that changes depending on where the session is, but most of my travel engagement sessions or sessions, I can get all of my travel costs covered for $500. So that's the amount that I add for those. The last tip I wanted to mention, if you are wanting to shoot more destination weddings, I recommend, after calculating all these travel costs, including them in the package pricing. So for example, I mentioned earlier that I have a pricing page specifically for the Northeast region. And so when I send that to couples, so if I have a couple inquiring for their wedding in New Jersey, I send them my Northeast region wedding pricing guide, and it actually has all the travel costs built into the package. So they'll see package number 1 with 8 hours of coverage, 2 photographers, blah, 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 like everything else that I include in my normal wedding packages, plus travel is included in there. And it's really awesome because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll email me back and they'll say, okay, so what's the travel cost? So I'll email them back. I say, actually, there are no travel costs because I don't like to operate my business under hidden fees. I don't like them to be surprised when they see the tax or to be surprised when they see the travel and all that stuff. I like to just give them all that information up front. So when they see my pricing guide for their wedding for the Northeast region, they're going to see package number 1, everything that they're going to get in order for me to shoot their wedding, travel to their wedding, everything, and including sales tax. That is the final price. And that's how I'm able to book so many destination weddings, is because I just make it so simple for them. And they're not constantly worrying about, well, how much is it going to be if they're traveling to my wedding? How much is it going to be if they travel for my engagement session? Well, how much is sales tax going to be once they send me over the proposal? They don't need to worry about any of that because everything is included in the price, and it just makes it really easy for them. All right, so that's everything. That's how I calculate travel costs for my weddings, how I do it based on the region. I have different pricing guides depending on where they're inquiring from, and how I calculate those costs, and how I include everything, all the travel costs, sales tax, package pricing. It's all together in one final total price so that they are not surprised in the end. And they're actually really happy because they see those prices, they know that they're going to get everything that they need, including the travel, and they book their destination wedding because of it. So I hope you apply these tips to your business, that you're able to book more destination weddings. Again, make sure to download that free guide down in the description, and I'll see you again next week for another YouTube video.